Gary, cold open question of the week.
Yes.
Would you rather be the world heavyweight wrestling champion or president of the United States?
I would rather be the world heavyweight champion of wrestling. It seems to be a lot less stress. Yeah.
A lot more fans, maybe.
A lot more fans. Yes, people will definitely love you more when you're the wrestling champion than you are the president. So,
unless you're a heel.
Oh, well, that's true.
Could be a heel champion.
Yeah, but then, you know, 1 week you're that, and then the next week you're back on top. Everyone loves you again. So,
and it's not like we haven't had a heel president before.
That's very true. That is very true. And people loved him. So, oh, Lord. You betcha.
Tonight, it's episode 2 of The Brian Lennon Show. And joined, as always, by co-host, Gary McDaniel. Ooh, I see it, yeah. All right. Got the fade working.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Week 2, we're better than last week. All right. So
true.
So we're back again.
Yes, we are.
Week 2, episode 2. You went and listened to the first episode?
I did. What did I lost you a little bit in there. Your mic went out again. I enjoyed it. I thought we were good. I thought it sounded pretty good. I even I even went on to, besides listening to the audio, I went and I watched the YouTube channel and I watched the video, and I even watched the little random clips that we did. I thought that was amusing. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, so it is Tuesday, July 5th, 10 o'clock. We'll be recording typically at this time. And Wednesday, we post the podcast on the Substack page of The Brian Lennon Show. Excuse me. Which is thebrianlennonshow.substack.com. And then I also started The Brian Lennon Show's YouTube page. So I experimented with that this week. And you can just search YouTube for The Brian Lennon Show. And you should be able to find the
video.
The video.
The video.
So
see our pretty faces.
Yes. And yeah. So how was the 4th of July, Gary?
4th of July was good. It was good. I am yes,
now you're over.
I am live in Jupiter, Florida. Yes,
okay.
I am broadcasting from Jupiter, Florida this time.
Which is on the East Coast.
On the East Coast, yes. Right below Daytona and right above West Palm and Miami. So we came over here on Friday and drank all weekend. And then Tuesday, yes. Yeah, or not Tuesday, Monday, yes, 4th of July. We had we had what was a 4th of July / birthday party. Their neighbor across the street was her birthday, so they kind of threw her a surprise birthday party. So we had it over here at my in-laws, and they had a big giant water slide, and then they bought a ton of fireworks. So we had a big fireworks display, and so a lot of drinking, a lot of cornhole playing. I got partnered up with their cousin Larry, and we did not lose one game.
What were you drinking?
I was drinking a little bit of everything. I had some German beer, Schafferhofer, some grapefruit, passion fruit, and there was a pomegranate one. And then I moved on to some of the Bud Light, the hard colas they have. So mixture of those. And then I started drinking a little bit of the High Noons. So yeah, no
I
actual beer.
no beer, no beer.
No beer.
I tried. I might have mentioned this last week. I had bought the Blue Moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it called Blue Moon Sky or Blue Moon Light?
Might be. I don't know.
Whatever it was. It was a citrus sweet flavor, and I tried one or two one night when I got it. Didn't really care for it, and then I added the orange slice because my
Mm.
coworker said, "Oh, you got to put the orange slice." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, I do, don't I?"
Yep.
And they went down much smoother, much better with the orange slice in the glass. So
Yeah, just that little difference changes
a
everything.
little bit, yep, certainly does. Well, this week on Friday, my oldest son Joseph, we celebrated his 20th birthday.
I know. Oh yeah. Oh,
Which is amazing to think I have a 20-year-old son.
yeah.
And you, of course, remember the day he was born.
I do. Yeah.
And you had a very important role on that night. Do you remember what your job was that night?
Oh my God, no. It's 20 years ago. I don't.
Do you remember you had to bring Jill her post-birth meal?
Oh, that's right. I don't remember what it was, but I remember. Yes, I remember bringing her.
I think she wanted a cheesesteak.
Is that what it was?
I think it was like a cheesesteak from Andy's or something.
Man, yeah, I do remember that now.
And you brought it.
Yeah,
You delivered.
I did.
Jill delivered, and then you delivered.
Exactly. See?
So yeah, we had birthday cake on Friday with him.
Okay.
We went Sunday. It was rainy up here, and Ruby was kind of sick, so we didn't go. I wanted to golf this weekend. That never happened. But Sunday we went to Crystal Cave in Kutztown.
Okay.
Did you ever go to Crystal Cave?
Doesn't sound familiar. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been there.
So we were there a few years ago, previous, but Bernie's really into the rocks, so
Okay.
we brought him there. So it's a fun little. It's cold in there. It's like 45 degrees.
Well, I mean, I've been to the mines there in Scranton, but Scranton. But no, actually, I don't tell you the truth. I don't even know if I've ever been to Kutztown. I think about it. So, I mean, I might have driven
really
through it, but
there's no reason to go other than this cave. So it's pretty neat though. They have actually a ballroom. They held a wedding inside this cave. It's big enough, I guess you'd call it a ballroom, and they had a stage set up. They brought a piano down, and the people got married there. So
interesting.
Yeah. So
hey, what? To each his own.
And then 4th of July. Oh, then Sunday night we went to go see Elvis, the movie.
Oh, okay. How was
Have
it?
you seen it?
I have not.
I enjoyed it.
Did you? Good. Yeah. No. I didn't even realize there was a show I used to watch called the Shannara Chronicles, and he was in that, I guess. And I didn't know this. It was called Shannara Chronicles. It's a fantasy fairy tale like type show, but he was one of the main characters, and I didn't realize that until Shannon mentioned the one day that he was the one playing Elvis. I'm like, really? Because he was like a long blonde haired looking kid in the other thing. So then when I happened to pull up the thing like the IMDb and I was looking, I was like, oh, it is. I was like, oh my God, looks completely different.
And apparently he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Which I saw. I don't know what character he was, but I don't know. But
yeah,
he was really good.
Was he?
Yeah, it was. And again, how many Elvis impersonators have you seen?
Oh yeah,
including Quentin Tarantino on The Golden Girls. Played a.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever seen that episode. Huh.
And he plays the whole span of Elvis from, teenager to, 42-year-old bloated,
Oh, okay.
rock star. Um, I'd say the highlight for me was the 1968 comeback special that Elvis did.
Mm,
That's where he's in the TV studio. He's got the black leather like jumpsuit on.
yes. Okay.
So it was really uncanny. It's almost like watching Elvis
Was it really?
with the benefit of having, you know, it be recorded in 2022
Yeah.
as opposed to, 1968.
Huh.
So there were some minor issues with it or whatever. I felt it was too long. I felt like it was too long, but at the same time, it was good.
Okay.
It was just the right amount. I didn't think Tom Hanks was very good in it.
No.
I don't know what he was doing with that character. He plays Colonel Tom Parker,
Okay.
but it wasn't his best performance.
No.
So
Not so much.
not so much on that. So all right, just marking myself. Jill thinks Austin Butler deserves the Oscar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she I think she fell for him.
Did you?
Yeah. So all right. So I want to bring up, Gary, the fact that the opening was a little bit different this week
Yes.
than it's been in every episode we've ever done for the
Mhm.
Brian Lennon Show. We opened with Blind Melon
Mm-hmm.
and No Rain. The reason we changed the theme song this week was when I tried to upload the video onto YouTube, it flagged it for monetization. Not that I think we're going to become terribly wealthy here
Yeah.
doing this podcast, but just in case,
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why should we share the profits with Blind Melon?
Yeah, hasn't done anything in decades. I didn't even think about it because when we decided to do the video part of this whole thing, I forgot that when I'm doing the share screen on the Zoom, that it shows the video that was coming from YouTube. So I was like, oh. So I don't know if it was just because I'm assuming it was just because it was the video showing and not the music itself, or
no, it knows the music.
Oh, okay, so it was catching both.
Yeah, because one of the guys I follow on YouTube, Rick Beato, he plays music because he's a music instructor.
Okay.
So he kind of deconstructs songs and shows you why it works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And he gets demonetized all the time. And he only uses like 15, 20-second clips.
Yeah.
And there's certain artists that will demonetize his videos so he doesn't make any money or makes partial, what he would normally make.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, he is exposing a lot of people to artists they may not have listened to or hadn't listened to in a long time. Or
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think they'd be
but
happy.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But that's, that song is kind of special to me, but
we'll throw them a nickel. We'll throw them a nickel.
So, but not using it will make it easier because now we're using non-copyrighted songs that are approved by Google. So we'll be good to go.
Make you too happy.
Do we have any guests yet in the waiting room, or we don't know still if Lisa's going to join us this week?
Man, her title is just going to keep shrinking. By the time we're done with about 10 episodes, she'll be the janitor.
I want to kind of have her on to talk about the Browns quarterback situation. But
Let's see. I'd say well, I guess I'll text her and see, but you know her, she doesn't, she never answers anything. Ever. She's probably like, I didn't get a link. Oh yeah. Check your email, woman.
all right. So
What else? That's a good topic. I'd like to get into that one too, because reading all this stuff.
What?
The Browns.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. We'll wait to see if she comes and joins us or what happens. But I do want to talk some football or some sports, Gary, because this past week it was announced by the Big Ten, which is really currently 14.
Yep.
That they have approved USC and UCLA to join the Big Ten starting in 2024.
Yeah.
What's your initial impression of that?
It's interesting. I mean, I think, hey, keep at it don't matter to me. I don't care how many are in there. Just keep bringing them in. I find it is funny because the two teams that are coming in, the UCLA Bruins, that was our old mascot from high school, and the USC Trojans, that's Shannon's old mascot. So bringing in our two high school mascots into the Big Ten now. So I was like, oh, it should be interesting. I was just looking at to see how they were going to do that. I'm like, I'm assuming they're going to put both of them in the West division and then move one team out and put them up. And the only other team I could think of was maybe like Illinois or Purdue. Yeah, Illinois. They're the other ones that are down there. So
do you think it makes sense for those two teams to join the Big Ten?
I mean, I don't know. It is kind of weird. There are a lot of other schools that are in this general area that like kind of would probably mix better with
like Notre Dame.
Big Ten, yes, like Notre Dame. Trying to think a couple other ones, even some down this way in Florida and South Carolina and things like that. But yeah, two schools all the way out that way. I mean, well, our farthest school was what with Minnesota. So in Iowa.
Well, the farthest school from the most western school is Nebraska currently.
Was it Nebraska?
Yeah. And Nebraska is 1,500 miles away from UCLA and USC.
Yeah, see, they could have grabbed a couple other ones in there.
Like, I would have loved to have seen Notre Dame and University of Virginia.
Oh, yeah. That would have been a good one.
Two schools that have...
They're right there, yeah. Oh, I mean,
good academic reputations.
Mm-hmm.
Virginia's a powerhouse sort of in baseball.
Yeah.
And basketball of late.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, obviously they're in the Midwest. They have, rivalries with Michigan, with Michigan State, Purdue, Indiana, that's in-state. So two things that don't make sense to me.
Years back was Penn State too.
Penn State. But why, it seems, and I wrote about this in my article that's on the Brian Lennon Show on Substack today, but why you would send, say, a girls' soccer team from California, we assume that they're going to play USC. Those two teams will be in the same division.
Yeah.
To play each other. They'll play Nebraska, obviously, you think.
Yeah.
So that's, two home game or two away games, but they typically play 5 road games. So 3 more times out of the year, they're going to have to travel,
Probably
you know,
Iowa,
to Iowa,
Minnesota.
Illinois, Minnesota, wherever.
Yep.
You know, they're going probably 2 or 3 time zones.
Yeah.
And if this game is on a Wednesday, you know, are they leaving, you know, Tuesday night
Yeah.
to be there Wednesday to get acclimated to the, you know, even there's an issue with West Coast teams coming to the East Coast to play football
Mhm.
because a 1 o'clock start is 11 o'clock for them.
Oh yeah.
And typically college football games start at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, you know, will USC and UCLA always play a 4 o'clock game when they travel east?
Yeah. See, because that's the thing with them too, is even when they were those Pac-12 when they were doing that, most of their games were usually 10 o'clock
They,
at night. So
they
I mean,
usually play on Fridays,
or yeah, the late,
and they do play later at
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
because that's what they were doing. So I mean, unless it was like a primetime game, and then that's when, but then that might be like a 4 o'clock game or something like that, but or an 8 o'clock game, but still.
So the logistics of it doesn't make sense to me.
No, doesn't.
But then on top of that, one of the big reasons for this move by USC and UCLA is obviously the money,
Mhm.
and for the Big Ten as well. You know, you're getting 2 marquee names to, you know, compete for your basketball championships,
Yep.
your football,
Mhm.
you know, the 2 big draws.
Exactly.
So I think this deal was really about money
Oh yeah, definitely.
and making these deals. And it makes me wonder, you know, what the goal now of colleges, universities such as Penn State, USC, Michigan, are they more in the entertainment business than they are in the education business?
Yeah.
Does that trouble you at all?
No, I mean, I guess I'm just so used to it. It just seems like it's been like that forever. Like it just always seemed that way. There was more about, because I mean, half these schools was less times they were possible to get into. They're so expensive to get into. It's like, so that's it. Yeah, that's. You think you think they would be cheaper to get into because of all the draw they're getting now with TV money and all this stuff, but no, still the same. Everything's still jacked up. So
Yeah. I doubt any of these schools are going to lower their costs
oh yeah,
with this deal. So
nope. I mean, there's another one. What was Texas now? Texas is they're supposed to be going to the SEC. So
right. So now we're going to have 16 teams in the Big Ten.
Yep.
We're going to have the SEC now with at least 16 teams. They might have more.
Yeah, I mean, I can look that up real quick, but yeah, they're another one that's jacked up with a bunch of teams. Let's see, Big Ten, SEC. Oh, so they have 14 right now as well, and then they're adding
Texas and Oklahoma.
I think, yeah, it is Texas and Oklahoma, isn't it? So yeah, so they're going up to 16 as well, starting. It might be next year. I think I can't remember now when they were supposed to be starting.
They might be fall of 23.
I think that's what it was.
I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year.
So
we're going to have 2 16-team super conferences if you want.
Yep.
Do you think it's going to come down to where it's the national championship or the playoff will be obviously the winner of the SEC and the winner of the Big Ten will get automatic bids?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. Most likely. I mean, it's almost getting down to where it's turning into just going to be a couple super conferences and that's it.
Right.
Your 4 main teams are all going to come from All these little no-name schools, the only thing they're going to get into is maybe basketball. They'll never see the light of day of football.
Right. And then if you think about, if you end up with 4 16-team super conferences, that's 64 teams,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically your NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be interesting, though, to see how the NIL, like the name, image, license deals, affects how competitive some schools may be.
Mm-hmm.
Because you may get a very wealthy owner, say at Oklahoma State, who has a ton of oil money.
Yeah.
And he wants to put up, a team, and he's going to pay those kids, $1 million, $2 million a season
Yeah.
to, come play at Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of those teams that don't have such a vigorous or rigorous schedule will have an easier path maybe to get to the playoff. They're going to be undefeated.
Yeah.
I think it makes it really hard to think Penn State is going to beat Michigan, Ohio State, and a USC.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, that, like you said, recruiting is going to become so much more difficult too, with trying to get kids to come to schools, because now it was, hey, you come to school, you can get a decent education. We have a really good football team, but now if you don't have the money to pay for them to go there, they'll go to the school where, yeah, that guy's going to give me $1 million to play, so I'm going here instead. So it's all going to come down to money again. Money, money, money.
And then I wonder too, who Coach Franklin's going to flirt with now that USC is in the division. Because he seems to flirt with some school every year for Penn State to end up paying him more to be a total flub.
Oh, I know. So everyone, like, anytime there comes up and they're like, oh, he might be leaving, I was like, oh, thank God. Is it finally? Is he finally going to do it? And then it's like, oh no, we just paid him more. I'm like, seriously?
He's a hell of a recruiter.
Oh yeah, I'll give him that.
But he's one of the worst in-game coaches I've ever seen.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, some of those.
He can't coach in the second half. He can't make any in-game changes, including the USC Rose Bowl when they lost to USC. They had some crazy lead and then just blew it in the second half.
So a couple of years ago when I went to see them play Kentucky here in one of the bowl games in Orlando, I'm like, they just couldn't play. He couldn't do anything. I'm like, what the heck? It's not the Penn State team that I've been seeing on TV a couple times. It's Kentucky. We should have blew them out of the water, but nope. Horrible.
So at least we'll have a lot of we'll have full days of football if you're a Big Ten fan, because you'll go from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till probably 1:30 in the morning now.
Oh yeah,
because I'm sure USC will play a 7 o'clock game, which will be 4 o'clock here, and then they'll play the 10 o'clock game here, which would be 7 o'clock there. So,
oh yeah,
you'll have 13 hours of wall-to-wall
Big Ten football. Yeah. Hey, that works.
And it'll be fun to see USC and UCLA come up to like Purdue on like a nasty November day and play in like a sleeting rain.
That was all the memes I was seeing, or anything like on Facebook or Twitter, and it was all about enjoy coming to Iowa every year. So yeah, that should be fun. Yeah. Now it would have been nice if we had them when they were like still decent in the heyday. Now they're just kind of mediocre. So it's like, oh well.
That was another thing too I pointed out is, Nebraska, which was one of the top football programs in the country.
Yeah.
When they had Tom Osborne, since they've joined the Big Ten, they're mediocre at best.
They've been horrible. They had that one good year with that one coach, or no, that one coach was good at some other school. They bring him into Nebraska and he stinks.
And then even they brought in Maryland for basketball purposes, most likely.
Yeah.
And I wrote in the article, Maryland's made the Sweet 16 once, like since 2014.
Yep.
So they haven't done anything. They were tied for first during the COVID year, for the regular season.
Yeah.
So, they haven't been, typical Maryland basketball. And then Rutgers, which was doing well under Greg Schiano, kind of before they joined the Big Ten. I think that's why the Big Ten kind of brought them in.
Yep.
But he left, and he's back with them now, and we'll see, if he can do what he did before for Rutgers. But really the teams that the universities they've added haven't really had the success athletically that they had before joining the Big Ten. So we'll see if it's more of the same for USC and UCLA.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
So
it will be interesting.
Anything on your docket there, Gary?
No, I mean, we're sticking around here for another couple more days or so. We'll hang out. I may hit up a couple breweries this week that I haven't been to over on this side yet, so check them out. And that's pretty much it. And then that's it. And then I have to go back because I have a summer camp to work, so for a week. So I get my stuff ready for that.
What is to tell our listeners about your summer camp?
Oh yeah, it's a math camp. I'm going to teach a math camp. So yeah, I think there's like 10 kids signed up. So we'll go in. I'll just take a couple things I had from what I used from last year at school, and I have like some random worksheets of different things where random little math stuff, and then I'll have my computer. So I'll take my I'll use my one site that I use a lot for classes, and we'll go through that. So it's going to range. They're like, I think they're kids from like basically kind of what I teach now. So it's like 4th to 8th graders. So that's what I'll end up having. So out of the 10 kids. So yeah, we'll just be a little mixture of some fun stuff. And so yeah, it's only a week. Not bad.
Not bad work if you can get it.
Yeah, exactly. Work a week in the summer. That's it.
All right, Gary, I want to bring up another topic with you.
Yes, I'm ready.
So, my wife, Jill, she attended a seminar this past week.
Okay.
At work, and it dealt with microaggression.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So, do you know what a microaggression is?
I do not.
All right. So
until you start telling me what it is, and then I'll be like, "Oh, okay, that's what it is." All right.
So it's defined as when someone says or does something that feels hostile or offensive to some aspect of our identity.
Okay.
And the person who's doing it doesn't even realize it.
Okay.
So it could be insensitive statements, questions, or assumptions.
So I hear that basically every day when I'm in school then.
You probably do.
Yeah, all these kids are microaggressive then, and they don't even know it.
So, Jill works at a college,
Mhm.
so they were talking about it as far as like, and microaggressions occur everywhere.
Mhm.
So they can, occur. If you're a teacher, your students are
Mhm.
aggression,
Aggression,
microaggressing
micro. Yeah,
against you.
yeah.
Likewise, you may be microaggressing over them.
Oh yeah.
And when Jill was explaining this, and you know, I was kind of rolling my eyes, because it just to me it sounded kind of like the typical liberal college stuff that they make you go through. Like,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So fast forward, like the next day or 2 days later at work, the attorney I work for and my coworker are talking about a particular deed that we're looking over for this property. And my coworker says, well, this deed is so old. And I'm looking at the deed and it's from 1976. And I kind of made a face,
Okay.
and they kind of, I was able to laugh about it.
Oh yeah.
But I guess that would be kind of the definition and the illustration of, a microaggression.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
So,
That's funny.
and for me, because I'm the oldest person in the office.
Okay.
So, which again is not something I typically ever was.
Yeah.
I've I
Oh
still
yeah.
feel like I'm 18,
Yeah.
you know, not when I get up from the couch, but
Mm-hmm.
you as we get older, you and I get older,
Uh-huh.
we're going to probably run into these situations more often than not.
Oh, I get these all the time. With all the kids too, especially now. If I'll say something about a certain thing or whatever, and even if I'm talking about old, like even old history, they're like, well, I don't know why we have to deal with that stuff, blah blah blah. And then I'll be like saying something about the 80s or something, and they're like, oh, I don't know, yeah, that's so long ago, that's so old, that stuff is. I was like, oh my, I'm like, how? And then they'll look at me and they'll be like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, and they're like, oh my god, that's so long. I was like, it's not that long. I mean, it's 40 some years ago, but it's not. I mean, to me, it's not that long ago. I'm like, I don't know. To you guys, I guess, yeah. So, oh yeah, they give it to me all the time. But
Yeah, and I even have those conversations with, the kids, like, Joey and Lucy are 20 and 19. I'll talk about the 90s,
mhm.
and to them it probably feels like, ancient history, just like it would have
Oh yeah,
to us. If someone was talking about, 1967,
yeah,
to us in 1994, we would have been like,
yeah.
okay.
We're doing the same thing that they do now. So, oh yeah,
But I feel like, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like we, at least personally, I had like a better understanding of, I guess, the recent past
mm-hmm.
than my children do. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like I knew a lot about the 60s and 70s.
yeah. And it's because our parents grew up in that era, so they would talk about all that stuff. So that's what it was. That's. I think that's the thing is, it's when you talk about your past, it kind of, it's just like, no, like Colin, he loves all the, like, a lot of 70s music and like even some of the 60s stuff. All the, like, he likes all that classic, like, to us, classic rock.
Right.
To them, it's Stone Age rock, but he's into all that stuff. Like, he likes all that stuff because, I mean, we introduced it to it, like we introduced it to him, and all that stuff. Because even when we were looking at she had found one of those things on Facebook, and it was like kids that uh they ask them questions about certain items, and they try to guess what they are, and like they were all stuff that we would have grown up with: cassette tapes and rotary phones, all this stuff, and they had like absolutely not a clue of any of the stuff. And he knew a few of the items because we've talked about it, but then there was a couple of these like I have no idea. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right. And then we have to explain it. So
Yeah. Now I'll kid with the kids. If there's a song on, I'll be like, who sings this?
Mhm.
They'll be like, they'll be like incredulous that I ask, like,
yeah.
I don't know. And it'll be, an artist from the 90s that,
Yeah.
like, I feel like I knew artists from the 70s and 60s.
Mhm.
And again, we spent a lot of time in the car with our parents listening to the radio,
Yeah.
listening to their music,
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think they obviously listen to my music, but
Yeah.
But I find it too with the CCD class I teach, because they're 12 years old,
Okay.
roughly. They're sixth graders,
Yeah.
and I've been teaching now 5 years, so I think this will be my sixth year coming up. So even there's a difference almost in
Mm-hmm.
the first class I taught to this class.
Yep.
But I remember my first class talking about however I got on the subject of Garth Brooks.
Okay.
And now Garth Brooks was probably the top selling artist of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And these kids had been born in probably 2007.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They had no clue who Garth Brooks was. They
No.
they thought he was a saint. They thought that's why I was talking about him. Like Saint Garth of Brooks or something.
Yeah. It's funny. Oh my God.
But it just
see, then
feels
I mean, that comes down to, okay, yeah, I mean, he is a country singer, so maybe their parents may just never listen to country, so that could be the reason why they had no idea who Garth Brooks was. But I mean, shoot, I mean, he was just, I mean, yeah, he was very popular in the 90s, but he's still popular today. So it's like, you would think, but yeah. Well, a lot of this stuff comes down to parenting. That's how I see it. I mean, even in school,
it is.
I'm like, it's like some of these kids, like they just don't get certain things, and it's like, I'm like, I guess you're just not disciplined enough, and certain I mean, certain aspects, it's just it's rough. So
yeah. Are you ready for your segment here?
Sure.
Do you have to get ready?
No, all I gotta do is oh wait, stop that again. Because it's in two different spots, so I'll have to share this. So
it's gonna be tough to top last week.
I know. All right, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Start up.
Oh, what if I put volume on?
And now it's time for Gary's News of the Weird.
Yeah. Oh, you like that? Oh,
What do you?
Yeah. All right.
That was a nice fade.
You like that? I'm working it this time. All right. So this one, I got a little bit of audio. Let's get this sucker going.
An area north of Tampa Bay is under quarantine this morning, but it's not because of what you think. It's thanks to the rediscovery of a really, really nasty invasive pest. Take a look at this. It's a giant...
Do we have to?
You do. It's a giant African land snail, which grows to be 8 inches long and can breed like you wouldn't believe. It was found in Port Richey, Florida. Yes, it does breed.
Is that what it's doing right there?
I don't know.
Because that looks
I don't
very
think it's
tender.
breeding.
It was like a tender moment.
That is
I think we need to move on to the morning
Authorities
show.
have put all of Pasco County under quarantine. Officials had believed that the snails had been driven out the area. Look, they're very tasty. I've had them when I was living in Africa, and I had a picture. I can't find it, but I will share it with you. It is wonderful.
Sure, lots of garlic and butter.
That's right.
We'll be right back.
Yes. Right
So
here in my
They
backyard.
literally put the place under quarantine.
Yeah. They had to they shut it down because there were just so many of them that they just kept popping up. They're just I mean, look at them. That's
So 8 inches long. That's a pretty good size.
Yeah.
It's like a hot dog.
I mean, see it in this guy's hand right here. I'm like, that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's like filling his hand.
Yeah.
Whoever the scientist is with the glove on.
They're
Um,
ginormous. That's
what
ridiculous.
When you eat a snail, what is that called? Is that
Escargot?
escargot, right?
Yes, escargot. Look at that.
Now, would you eat one of those?
No. No. I mean, unless it was breaded and deep fried and I didn't know what it was, then maybe. I mean, I eat calamari, so I'm like,
So you're saying there's a possibility.
There would be a possibility, yes. Now I know, like when we go over to Epcot, we do their food and wine festival. The one section in France, they do have escargot. You can get one of the little kiosks, but I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, I'm going to skip that because I don't know. From what I've heard, it's very, I don't know. It's just
seems like it would be very chewy.
I think that's, yeah. Someone said it's like chewy and very salty, or I think someone said too, but which is weird because you put salt on a snail and they shrivel up. So
yeah,
it's weird. But
all right.
All right. So now we're gonna move on to this one. Bison gores woman in Yellowstone National Park, tosses her 10 feet in the
You got options. A non-stop
Boy.
I forget there's videos for all this stuff, but we're not going to do a video for this one. All right. So the bison was walking near a boardwalk at Black Sand Basin, just north of Old Faithful, when the woman approached it on Monday. According to a park statement, she got within 10 feet before the animal gored her and tossed her 10 feet in the air. The woman from Grove City, Ohio, sustained a puncture wound and other injuries. Park emergency medical providers responded and transported her via ambulance to a hospital in Idaho. Park officials say it's the first reported bison goring this year.
Oh.
The park statement noted that bison are unpredictable, have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other animal, and can run 3 times faster than humans. Park regulations require visitors to remain more than 25 yards away from bison. The park statement said 2 other people were also within 25 yards of the same bison. The incident is under investigation. So, yeah.
So basically, you can give yourself a 25-yard head start against the bison.
I guess, yeah, that's what you need. I didn't realize they ran that fast.
Did it say they run 3 times as fast?
3 times as fast as a human. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And especially like at our age, I probably run a third slower than I ever ran, and I was never a fast person.
Yeah. No, I could run distance, but I couldn't run like sprints. So I would, yeah. I mean, I might be able to try to outrun him and just maybe outlast him, but I'm not gonna. I'll never get away from him. So yeah, I'd be one of those gored by the bison.
So you've thought about what sort of strategy you would take to outrun the bison.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd try to find something because I don't think they're climbing anything. So I try to.
I wonder how agile they are. Meaning, can they change direction or not?
True. That's true.
Because I think they're a bigger animal.
They are.
And I think one of the reasons they're running so fast is because they have a lot of weight behind them.
So if you do like maybe a zigzag motion type thing, they might not be able to. They might just tip over. That's a good. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. All right.
So I think with the quick moves left and right, and like you said, you're more of a distance guy.
Yeah.
I think you would have a good shot of
just keep going,
outlasting the bison. Now they say it's a puncture wound.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I'm assuming when they're running, they must put their head down with their horns, and then they just try to like almost like a bull, and then they just.
I wonder if a puncture wound doesn't sound bad.
I guess it depends on where it's at.
But I could, if the bison puts its horn through you, I guess technically it's a puncture wound.
Yeah.
But it's probably a little bit more than what we would think of as a puncture wound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she survived, so it couldn't have been that bad. It was bad, but just not that bad enough where it was fatal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, she was gored.
she was gored.
So-
Good. All right, now our last one here is this. Hold on. Oh, stop. Oh, I gotta stop picking these ones with. So this video shows hundreds of blackbirds mysteriously plummet from the sky, many nosediving to their deaths. All right, I'll get to the video in a second. But
I want to talk more about this because I have some anecdotal stuff I want
Did
to
you?
talk
Okay.
about.
So here we are. Hundreds of yellow-headed blackbirds swarmed over Chihuahua, Mexico last week
It's
when
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, is it Chihuahua? Oh yeah, Chihuahua, Mexico. I didn't even know it was Chihuahua, Mexico. Okay. Last week when something went them crashing to the ground, leaving dozens of the birds dead along the street. Security camera footage captured the incident, showing the swarm of blackbirds suddenly descending upon a house. Most of the birds fly away after taking the dip, but dozens were seen left motionless along the sidewalk and street. The incident happened at about around 5 a.m. on February 7th, according to local reports, and it is believed that the bird species were in the process of migrating to Mexico, northern Canada, then they collapsed. Let's see. Local media outlet report, I'm not reading that, reported that experts intentionally believed that the birds could have died from inhaling toxic smoke, or that the birds had some contact with electric power cables that suddenly received a current overload. The mystery continues around the incident, with experts attempting to offer various explanations for what might have happened. On February 9th, local radio station reported that some experts believe the birds had lost stability mid-flight and collided with each other. So let me find that. Let me see that video, because all right, hold on. Give me a little loud. Let me kill the volume on that until this silly commercial is done.
Don't need any demonetization.
Yeah. And then, all right, here we go. Here's the video. Some eerie music, some birds flying, and then boom.
Wow.
So someone was doing a little voodoo spells there in that house or something, and but yeah,
That is something. It almost looks like a black cloud descending. And then some of them leave and
others just sit there laying there dead. They hit the ground so hard.
that is interesting.
Oh yeah.
And the eerie music to go along with it.
Yeah, you like that?
So
Exactly. So go ahead.
I've been noticing this year especially, I feel like birds are flying lower than they have ever before.
Yeah, I can see that. We've had we were just somewhere the other day. I don't know if it was when we were out brewery hopping or what it was. We were somewhere, and yeah, they were just like dive bombing. They were just coming down and like swooping in. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But
Because I mean, I'm 6'2" ish.
Mhm.
So I'm taller. But I feel like I've seen so many birds flying like eye level with me. Or even some have come like close to hitting me.
yeah,
And even when I'm driving, I feel like there's more birds like flying in
swooping in front of the window. Yep.
more than I ever recall.
Yeah, something weird's going on. I don't know, but yeah, so that's oh wait, hold on. Let me where is it? So yeah. All right, so that's news of the weird.
News of the weird.
Come on.
Like the robot there.
I did.
You'll have to watch it on YouTube to see me do the robot. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Crack open another.
All right. Any so I just want to remind anyone that's listening, the Substack page, the
Yes.
Brian Lennon Show.substack.com. You can subscribe. I have another piece going up tomorrow. Well, which will be today, because you'll be listening to this tomorrow.
Correct.
Don't forget our Facebook page, The Brian Lennon Show. Follow us on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the YouTube page, The Brian Lennon Show. Ring the bell, right, Gary?
Ring the
They-
bell.
They say. Ring the bell.
Ring it.
Subscribe, like, comment. Get us up in the search engines.
I was trying to look to see how many we had, but I guess I can't really see it. So
I was on something was giving me details of the statistics. I'm not sure if it was the Substack page or the YouTube page. We had 2 people from Ireland listening
oh, nice.
to the show. I
I'll
think
have
it might
to,
be.
We'll have to figure that one out, because in March when I go to Ireland, we'll have to figure out how I'm gonna do that.
What time will that be? He's- Now that'll be something though. Are you going
much
to be
math.
bringing a computer?
I might, yeah.
That would be cool if we could get you from, live from Ireland.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I can figure it out.
Figure that out. Maybe just call in that day or something. Well, I don't know.
We could. Yeah, we could figure something out.
I think the person who listened to it is my friend on Facebook that I friended, whose name is also Brian Lennon.
Oh, okay.
He's from Ireland.
Okay.
I have these random people that I'm friends with on Facebook. So, yeah, Brian Lennon from Ireland. I'm assuming he's the one who listened to it.
I'll have to remember that, and then right before I go, I'll have you message him and be like, "Hey, I don't know where does he live in Ireland? Do you know?"
No.
Does it say? Okay. So,
and he's married to a man who lives, I think, in Seattle or on the West Coast.
okay.
And he has a brother, David, who lives in Chicago.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So he comes over to the States a lot.
Mm.
I don't know if he's planning on. I think he's probably going to eventually move here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has or not. So maybe he'll be a guest we can bring on the show.
There we go. So I said, I'll go see Brian Lennon in Ireland
on the Brian Lennon Show.
On the Brian Lennon Show.
Maybe we'll try to get him on, because he seems like a person who would do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just to come on a complete random strangers podcast who shares your name.
Yeah.
And talk about, maybe he can give you some tips and tricks for when you're over there,
where to eat.
Yeah. So
what's the good pubs?
So when are you heading over there? March?
Yeah, it'll be the week of St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to be in Dublin, Ireland on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
That's how we set the trip up.
So you want to maybe first week of March we'll try and
we'll have to figure that out.
All right.
Let's see. What is time difference?
I think it's going to be at least 6 hours. 5 or 6.
Let's see. So Ireland is 5 hours. Dublin is ahead of Jupiter by 5 hours. So right now it is 3:54 a.m. in Dublin. So that means it would be 3 a.m. when we do when I do the Brian Lennon Show.
So you may be coming back from the bar.
Most likely.
Is what you're saying.
Most likely. Mm-hmm.
So we may have to schedule that one for a different time, especially if we want to get him on. We'll
Well,
maybe
yeah.
do it over the weekend.
And then I should be, I think I'm going to be there for 2 weeks. So, because we're going to a couple different places. So it's like we're going, we're doing,
Have
we're
you told
doing-
your boss yet?
no, thank God. So, okay. So one of the weeks is going to be
It's
spring
spring break.
break. So I'd be fine with that. But it's that second week that I got to figure that one out. But no, we're doing Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and then we finish off in London. So
Now, are you doing any ancestry type looking for possible relatives? Have you done like the me and 33, whatever it is?
I have my 23andMe, but I haven't looked to see if I have anyone over there yet. Because I mean, it's kind of it's a whole trip setup from our old principal. So like we do have like an itinerary of things to do. So, but I mean, there's like times like during like right now everything's paid for except for lunch because they want you to actually go out and like check out the sites and check out different places to eat. So I mean, there's those couple times where we have like a little bit of a breakaway from things, but I don't know, I'm thinking I might break away from a couple things because I'm like, I don't really, whatever.
So where's your ancestry from? Like, what are you most of?
So majority of my ancestry is Eastern European. Let's see. I am 98.5% European. Eastern European is 76.8, which is like Lesser Poland, Czechoslovakia, Prague, things like that. And then I am 18.9% British and Irish. And in that part, I'm mostly for Ireland, it's County Donegal, County Mayo, County Cork. And then the United Kingdom part is Merseyside, Greater London, Glasgow City, Greater Manchester, West Yorkshire, West Midlands,
So it even breaks
Nottinghamshire.
it down by county.
Oh yeah,
That's interesting.
Lancashire, Cheshire West, and Chester and Kent. So it breaks everything down. Then let's see. Then I'm 0.5 Northern European, 0.3 Southern European, which is 0.3 is Sardinian, 2% broadly European, 1.1 Western Asian and North African. So I'm 0.8 Northern West Asian, 0.7 Iranian, Caucasian and Mesopotamian, 0.1 broadly Northern Western Asian, and 0.3 Northern African. So, it breaks everything down. And then the more people you do it with, so like, because my sister did it and I did it, so now I'm getting her like maternal side. So when I did it and I linked with hers, she got the paternal side. So now she has the two, like the mother and father DNAs, I guess, the male and female. So she was able, it was like she has a couple different things than I do. Like she actually
You're
like,
You're not talking about Georgia.
I'm talking about my sister Georgia, not the country. But no, so she has a couple different things than I do. Like I always thought we all had a little bit of like American Indian or Native American, like Indian. I don't have any. She does. She has a small percentage of it. So it's weird. Like she got.
Does that update your? When she does it, does that update your?
Yeah. So she did it first. So now that I did it, I'm linking with her. So like you could see like how how close we are percentage wise or whatever, and like I could see what like she has in her. So now like if my mother did it and if my father did it too, we would get all like we'd get more information to it. So
yeah, I did it. I had to. It got sent back to me because my spit, I guess, wasn't sufficient enough.
Yeah.
So I have to resubmit it.
Yeah. So now like Colin did it. So he has both. He's linked with me and Shannon. So now he's got like all the stuff on there.
Now, has Shannon done it?
She did it.
What is she?
So the only problem with her is she can't get her fraternal side because she doesn't have a brother, and then her father passed, and he didn't do it. So she can't see that part of her biology, I guess, her DNA. So it'll be rough for that. So she can only get a partial of, So like if her mother does it now or her sister does it, she'll get a little bit more information, but she won't get the full effect. So. Because she found too that she's actually closer with one of her other cousins that did it in DNA than her other cousin. So, and the two of them are sisters. So her two cousins that are sisters did it. Shannon linked with them. She's closer in DNA with one than the other. She's like a higher percentage. So it's weird. Because now like my half sister is even on here. So like I've linked up with her too, so I could see like what she is compared to me and all that stuff. So it's really weird.
Interesting. We'll have to keep monitoring that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get something every day where it's like you got 23 new matches to your DNA, but
you haven't reached out or
no, I haven't. I mean, after I did the one time, I looked at it a couple times and then I've kind of stopped. I only go on every once in a great while. And but I do have to go back on because I know there was a whole bunch of new ones that linked up, and so I wanted to see who else I have. Then like especially if there was anybody like closer by, and just like maybe like reach out and be like, hey, I think we might be related somehow.
Right.
So it'd be cool to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the show this week.
Yeah. It's a nice, nice long version. All right, here we go.
Than last week's.
A little bit longer, whatever.
And I was talking a lot about Big Ten football. I apologized. All right, before we go, Gary, what did we learn tonight?
A lot about the Big Ten football. And that you are friends with another Brian Lennon from Ireland. Yes. That may be our listener. So that's fantastic.
Our lone international listener.
Our lone international listener.
So hello to you, Brian Lennon, if you're listening. All right, we'll be back next week. Again, check out the YouTube page, the Substack page, and the Facebook page. Gary, have a great week.
Yeah, you too. I will talk to you again next Tuesday.